or any sort of thing that ever been said about Lyrical where he's quoted, and it's a bad example of what Lyrical can do. As you said, every event he's raring to go, and he doesn't mess up, to put it bluntly.
I remember I spent a decent amount of time with Lyrical at DAC.
Yeah.
I co-casted I think 1 or 2 games with him. I specifically asked PGL. I was like, hey, I would love to co-cast a game, because originally I was just kind of there on panel. So I was like, hey, who's the guy that runs it? Vlad? I was like, hey, Vlad, I'd love the opportunity to co-cast a game. If you can slot me in anywhere, I'd be more than happy to, do it. So he gave me, one of those like China versus China games, and he put me up there with Lyrical, and it was great. I specifically asked it to cast with Lyrical. I felt like him and I make a pretty good pairing, and I'm really excited to, see his. I'm excited to talk to him again and just say like, hey man, welcome. Like, he's here. He's gonna
he's done it.
A nice little paycheck. And all of his hard work pays off. That's a very satisfying kind of achievement.
Yeah, I think he really is. Like, I remember when I started, 2 years ago, a lot of people were using me as examples for newcasters, saying, look at this kid. He's to show that the top tier casting isn't sort of this in group where it's impossible to break into. And then I really feel like Lyrical's been the next bigger example. He's this guy that's really put in the work. He's slowly been noticed over time. He's been picked up to do big lands. Beyond the Summit have given him huge amounts of support and given him the work that he needs to achieve. What he aims to get to. And as you say, now going into TI, I think he's absolutely ready for it. Sometimes if someone's on the invite list, you sometimes wonder how are they going to be. But I think Lyrical's definitely one that you can trust Lyrical to give it his all. Lyrical's not going to screw up. He's going to be there. He's going to do everything that he's done, and only on a higher level.
Yeah, at DAC as well, he was one of the few casters who showed up in like full suit, ready to cast when he wasn't even scheduled to cast. He was just like, well, he was ready. You never know. Somebody could get sick, or somebody could, something could happen, and I'll be the guy who's ready to go and ready to be on the panel or ready to cast the next game. So he's a hustler, man. He showed up on a day where he didn't have to dress up. Some people didn't even come to the venue. I think a lot of people were just like sitting back in the hotel and just like watching the finals and like drinking beers. Lyrical is at the event, full suit, ready to go.
That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do.
The hustle, man.
It's what puts you above the others. It's what gives you that extra bit of boost, because everyone notices it. We're talking about it now. Everyone, all the other talent would have noticed that enthusiasm. The people running the event notice it, and then as we know, it does reflect on screen as well in the cast and in the panel and the coverage. So it definitely pays off. Yeah.
You're always on. People, especially if you're, especially in like a work setting. People notice. Oh, hey, he's dressed nice. Oh, he's ready to go. Oh, he's wide awake, at the right time. Like he's ready to work. Yeah. He's a professional, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. So let's see what else we have on here. Any interesting talent invites you want to discuss? I'm super happy for Fogged.
Yes, I think the thing I'm happy about Fogged as well is he's been invited, and people aren't really talking about it because they accept that he's one that people consider a shoo-in. But what you look back to, it was last year, wasn't it? I don't think he wasn't invited last year, was he?
Yeah, no, he was one of the people that kind of got almost like snubbed. People were a little upset about. Yeah,
but as I say, this year he's in. He's obviously been doing some amazing work with me on Dream League, and he's been putting the work in terms of going to pretty much every event that BTS have offered him. So no, I'm super excited for Fog. I don't really know the plans in terms of who I'm casting with, but I'm hopefully looking forward to doing some games with him. As he's been really great recently. And he's another one that's really putting the work. I saw him at Dream League, and Dream League, of course, along with there's a couple of teams that aren't going to TI that some people might not have taken as seriously. But he told me, he's been putting in a lot of research. He always turns up to the events as well, knowing what to say, and he puts up with me when we're casting, which is always a big plus as an analyst that I'm always impressed with. As I'm sure my loudness and my fidgeting at the casting desk can put off a lot of people, but Fogged, he's chill with it. So.
Dream League seemed like a quite the event. I know that's like one of the hardest working events. I remember talking to Fogged about it. He's got a girlfriend back home, and he's like, oh, I go to Dream League and I'm there for 3 weeks or something while we do this event. And I was like, oh, my girlfriend's gonna fly out and hang out for like 1 weekend, but to commit to casting in a foreign country for like 3 weeks, like it's a pretty big commitment, and to
It
put up
is.
with
Yes.
you every single day, and
Exactly.
it
You know,
seemed
he
like
has to put. Yeah.
yeah, it looked like you guys had a lot of fun though. I watched a couple of the casts. It seemed pretty memey, and there was you definitely were hitting the front page of Reddit from time to
Well,
time.
yeah, I mean that's as I always say, whenever that happens, that's always just down to the players. It's you could take me out and put any other caster there, and it would get that much. No, it's because it's always down to the players itself. If an amazing play happens, it's going to hit the top. Obviously, it feels great to be the caster that was the one to narrate over that play, but you got to kind of remember and not let comments get to your head, because if Toby was there, it would have definitely been up there as well. That's the thing to remember that. But no, yeah, Dream League as a whole is absolutely amazing. It's in terms of the people that run it, they just look after you amazing. We had this incredible setup where they put us in these super nice flats for the multiple weeks that we're in Stockholm, set us up with gaming PCs, make sure that we've got good enough internet to stream from. And yeah, I could never say, and I would defend Dream League if anyone ever said a bad word about them. And I think that's reflected recently as well in the public comments. You see a lot of Reddit praise for Dream League, especially when we had the whole issue with like teams pulling out and stuff. A lot of people quickly come to stand at Dream League side because they're a brand that's just been on the up and up. And obviously a big shout out to the Monster guys as well, because they're a huge part of the Dream League. They fund the studio, they sponsor every Dream League season because of that as well. So there's a lot of great people behind it. I'm just super psyched that I was able to get into Dream League when James first asked me. It was the first big gig I really did. That was when I quit my job, when I got asked to do the first Dream League. And it's still going. And there's talk of already multiple more seasons to come in the future. It ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, I've heard some really cool plans for DreamHack and Dream Leagues for next season, especially with Valve kind of announcing the major minor system.
Yeah.
Who knows, man? There could be
Hopefully they get themselves a major. I know that they do. Obviously, they want to become a major, and I believe they're taking all the routes to try and get it. But obviously, at the end of the day, it's going to be down to Valve and how they deal with who deciding which organizers they want to work with and such. But I guess what DreamHack themselves, they've done CS:GO majors right, so that's got to be a good sign. Valve are obviously willing to work with these guys, so just hope, fingers crossed they get some action with the Dota. Be amazing.
No, I think they certainly will. How was DreamHack Atlanta?
It was really good. I thought it would be good as well. I'm always psyched to come over to America. That's always the trip where it's like, I don't know, it just feels like what I'm doing is so cool, because when I was younger, I always wanted to go to America. Like, that was the place where, it's the place you see on the telly where all these amazing, Hollywood people are. And the fact that I get to go there for my job is just awesome. I love it. I love the accents. I love everyone's positive attitude, even though it may just be on the surface. It's an amazing place. But no, DreamHack Atlanta was great. The crowd was insane. We actually had a really good turnout, which is always a bit of, you never really know what to expect to kind of these DreamHacks, because obviously it's not just Dota. There's people there for all these different events. People coming to just play LAN as well and compete and stuff themselves. But we had a pretty much full crowd on the first series of the first day, and right up to the end of the finals. There's a huge amount of people watching. Setup was great. The team